Well, thousands of leaflets have been dropped over the city of Mosul containing safety information for residents ahead of an operation to recapture it from the so-called Islamic State. Iraqi ground forces have moved into the place to the south and east of the city, where the launch of a military offensive is expected to be announced soon. There are no firm figures on how many people remain in Mosul, but the UN estimates it could be around 1.5 million. It says up to 1 million people in the city and surrounding towns could be displaced by the operation. That's in addition to more than 3 million people across Iraq who have already been uprooted by fighting since the start of 2014. Well, the UN Refugee Agency has spent months preparing to help the estimated 700,000 people who will need shelter and food after fleeing their homes. Filippo Grandi is the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. He joins me now from Baghdad. Thank you very much for sparing the time. We're expecting a huge displacement of people. Are you ready?
We are ready with equipment, shelter and other types of equipment to provide to about 400,000 people. And this is still a small figure because we could have a much bigger emergency than that. And to complete our preparations, we need more resources. But of course, equipment, tents, shelter equipment is not the only thing that is needed here. We also need, and we got these assurances from the Prime Minister today, I saw him this morning, we also need the Iraqi forces to adopt an approach which is, of course, military in its objectives, but which also protects civilians. This is extremely important at this very critical juncture.
You said you're ready for 400,000 people, but many more are expected to leave.
Yes, this is the preparation for the initial phase of this offensive. We are scaling up on a daily basis with more tents, more items, more relief items to distribute people, with more staff ready to monitor the situation, with more sites being prepared to receive people. You know, the big uncertainty here is that we don't know how the war will move. We don't know what patterns of displacement will occur. So we need to remain extremely flexible. But one thing is clear, we need more resources. UNHCR, my organization alone, asked for almost $200 million to prepare for this offensive. And we are still short of a very large amount of this money. We're still short of 120 million out of this comprehensive appeal that we have made. So I'm urging from Baghdad, here from Iraq, I'm urging donors to really step up and allow us to complete the preparations.
What do you think about IS? Do you think that they are going to allow civilians to leave Mosul?
We really don't know what will happen. There are many scenarios being talked about. We talk, of course, to the Iraqi government. Like I said this morning, I met with the Prime Minister, and I must say that I was very impressed by what he told me, that they had impressed themselves on their security forces, the importance to protect civilians. This is crucial because if civilians feel protected, they will also flee in much smaller numbers, or maybe not at all. It is almost inevitable that some displacement will occur, but if this can be minimized, and this is the objective of the Iraqi forces, this will be, of course, beneficial to all. But that approach, the quality of that approach, the moderation of that approach, the respect for women and children and other civilians will be key. And you know, this is always very difficult to achieve in war, in conflict. But we hope that lessons learned in previous offensives will be applied this time around.
Filippo Grandi, the UN High Commissioner for Refugees, thank you very much for sparing the time to speak to us.